Shalom, family. Back once again to make another quick video, another edition of Spiritual Food for Thought. Well, family, again, as I always say, I pray that, you're up on your walk and doing whatever you got to do to continue to, stay focused. A lot going on, a lot of distractions. Everything from, dealing with things with family members and loved ones and, just the overall things that go on around us, the cost of living, just all of these different things, all these arrows being shot at us, and, to try to take away our peace and steal our joy and all these things in the relationship that we have with the Most High. And all praise to the Father that through his divine spirit that we continue to hang on and press forward to the mark of the high calling of the Most High Power. As his children, family, said that we're in the world, but we're not of this world, because he has chosen us out of this world. Since the beginning of the foundation of the earth, this was all a part of his plan and what he desired to do as he chose to bring forth his creation. Understanding now, family, that in reality, the Father's creation is the kingdom of the Most High Power. That's the Father's creation. See, we exist in the realm of his permissive will, which is in this realm that's called time. Okay, it takes time to create things. And so nothing's instantaneous or hocus pocus, poof out of midair. That's an illusion. There's no such thing as that. The reality is, family, in order for anything to truly exist, there has to be a birthing process. Okay, everything that's created has a birthing process. So it must be born or created. And that all takes time. So, time is the realm of creation. And that's where we are right now, because we are all subject to time in this realm. See, the Father operates outside the realm of time because he's eternity. He's eternal. So ultimately, we as his children as well are eternal. But in order to come into that realm of eternity, we have to go through this process, where we have to go through this process that's actually the process of death, because it's where the battle of good and evil has to take place. And as we go through this experience of being born again spiritually, because see, first we're born physically in the flesh, but then we have to be born in the spirit. And to be born of the spirit is to experience good and evil. You see what I'm saying? And so as we go through this war, this battle of good and evil, we come to understand these things. Ultimately, we come to understand why we dealing with these things, why we dealt with these things, and why we have to deal with these things moving forward. Because there's lessons and things that's being taught to us by the Father himself as we go through these things. See, these are things that we have to experience. See, to hear, okay, as we hear things, words and stuff like that, these are things that's supposed to provoke our thought process. That process that the Father has made and created in us in his image, where we will engage ourselves in some type of dialogue or reasoning or rationalizing the things that we're experiencing, okay, the thing that we heard or whatever, that we're supposed to take those things and weigh them under the understanding that our Creator has given us, okay, to understand if these things are right or wrong, or however you want to say that, okay, but judging all things around us by the spirit of his divine love, okay, and so as we judge these things through the spirit of his divine love, then we're able to understand that if the thing that we heard don't line up with his absolute truth, and his absolute truth is the truth of the oneness of his kingdom, okay? So anything that cuts off the flow of life is death, and that's not of his kingdom. So the things that we understand that are death, as we are his children, we cannot comply with those things. We can't agree with those things. We can't receive those things because those things are against the nature of our Creator. And as we are his children, we cannot partake of things that violate his natural laws. Okay? See, as I've said before, see, the higher laws is the laws of the Creator. And that's under the spirit of his divine love. Okay? We call them higher laws because we're in a fallen nature. So we subject to the things of man. Okay? This is why we must be born again, because we must be brought up to a level of our Creator. We must be brought up to the realm of the heavenlies, so that as the kingdom of heaven is about the oneness of his creation. So anything that's outside of that family is not a part of his kingdom. That's why I said the Father's creation is the kingdom of heaven. This is the realm of creation. This is the process of creation where our consciousness is right now. And we're experiencing these things through these earthen vessels that we are part of right now. It's kind of like, in a sense, these earthen vessels are our prisons, because as long as we are bound to these, we'll never be absolutely free to be who we are. This is why when that time comes, we have to receive bodies, okay, that's going to be able to handle the kingdom of the Most High. He said flesh and blood will not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So guess what that means? These bodies are not going to inherit the kingdom of the Most High. They have to be changed. Okay, so this is a part of, I guess you could say, that's the final part of our born again experience. To see, to be able to receive the glorified bodies that our true spiritual beings can inhabit. Okay? So, the main thing I'm saying, family, like I say in all my videos, I'm just trying to say things to provoke you to thought, to seek the Most High for yourself. Because the bottom line is, family, our only real teacher today is the Holy Spirit. And until we understand that, and we keep listening to men and people and stuff like that, and worshiping man, because, to follow some man is to worship him. And the bottom line is, the only one we're supposed to worship is our Creator. And the bottom line is, we can't do that as long as we continue to give men that's fallen in nature and struggling in everything we are. How far can they take us? But it's where they are. So the bottom line, in this world, ain't no man got nothing that I want that would cause me to follow him, thinking that if I follow this guy or listen to this guy, I'm going to make the kingdom. When the Father did away with the priesthood of men and opened the door by receiving the same spirit that empowered Yahusha to walk in perfect harmony with nature and in total obedience to his Father. That same spirit, we can have the same spirit. And we actually, if we're chosen by him, we have the spirit already. And all we need to do is start fellowshipping with the Father from within, because he opened the door so us to do that. Because it's the priesthood of men that keep us separated from the Father. It keeps the Father hidden from us. He's right there the whole time knocking on the door of our minds, trying to commune with us. But because we so subject in the spirit of pride and caught up in the spirit of man worship, we can't hear the voice of the Father. So we continue to be spiritually dead. So to be born again is to be made alive into the Most High. So the bottom line is, family, we must be born again. But we can't be born again if we ain't seeking the will of our Creator for ourselves and to draw the Spirit. And as I said, we must begin to question our identity, because until we question ourselves and our existence, family, we ain't got a chance. And if we don't question our existence, because we ain't been drawn by the Spirit to do so. Because it's the Father that reminds us that we are created beings and we was created to serve him and to find out his will for our lives and how we serve him and our purpose and all these things. And as a child of the Most High, these things matter. I mean, it's just a part of the nature that he gave us. So, excuse me. With that said, before I move on with this topic, I'm not a teacher. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or what to believe. That's between you and the Most High. I'm just trying to put some thoughts out here, hopefully to provoke you to thought, so that you can begin to question the things that you hear with your Creator as you have dialogue with him through the privilege of his Spirit that he placed within you to have that dialogue. So, with that said, family, what I want to talk about and touch on today, what's a fig leaf? Okay. A fig leaf. We think about in our flesh, we think about some little leaf off a tree that supposedly Adam and Chua, after their eyes was open, that they took off a tree and they used that little leaf to cover up their private parts. And so that's what we know fig leaves to be in the flesh. And they used it to hide their nakedness, their shame. Okay, now, spiritually, if we look at fig leaves, we begin to understand that fig leaves is anything that causes us to cover up our nakedness. The fact that we lacking, to cover up our shame, to hide the fact that outside the Creator, that we are nothing. We are nothing. We have nothing. We came into this world naked. And when it's time to die, we're going to leave this world naked. Okay, getting down to it. The fig leaves is stuff that we choose in this world to make something out of ourselves. First of all, we indoctrinated into this world. And we come into this world not knowing anything, truly being like an empty vessel. As I said, we come in this world knowing nothing. We come into this world possessing nothing. But somewhere along our journey in this existence, people begin to tell us things. They begin to tell us things. You know, our parents begin to tell us things. But really, they're telling us things that they learned from somebody else telling them something. It was the same thing with our grandparents. It was the same thing with our great-grandparents. But it's different stories and things that somebody else taught and told them. Then as you grew older, the schools began to tell you things. Okay? They begin to tell you things right along with what the parents told you. They begin to tell you things like, this is good, this is bad. Okay? As you go into the world, and part of that is going into the world according to the things that people tell us. They begin to tell you, okay, you want to grow up so you can, you know, get a nice car, get you a nice house, get you a wife, so y'all can have children. And then you want to have money in the bank so you can do what you want to do. You got to grow up and get you a good job so you can have the money. You know, you want to go to this vacation place. You just got to go see that. Go to Disneyland. You got to go here. You got to go on a cruise. You got to go see this place. You got to go see that place. You're constantly bombarded in this world, people telling you what you got to do, what success is, how you prosper, and all the things of this world. Never elaborating the importance of knowing the Creator and coming to understand yourself through the eyes of the Creator. To have a relationship and dialogue with the Most High Power. You don't hear that, but it's constantly about seeking things and stuff and pleasure and all of these things, because this is what success is. Okay? Not realizing the reality is, in this mentality of the world, we continue to encourage and teach people to go through this life covering up your need to be one with your Creator. Continue to cover up and hide that absolute truth of the Creator and the oneness of His divine love and the oneness of nature. Excuse me. The oneness and the importance of being one with nature is being one with the Creator. Never these things, but all these things and stuff that really cover up our nakedness, that we are truly separated from the spirit of His divine love and the things that really matter. That we're separated from the kingdom of the Most High, which is the oneness of His creation. It's when the will of heaven, the earth becomes one with the will of heaven. Because the earth represents that fallen place in relations to heaven. Okay? And what continues to separate us from the will of heaven, which is the will of the Father. Okay? is all these fig leaves we go through this whole life trying to cover up our nakedness with. Because these fig leaves makes us feel good about ourselves. It makes us feel righteous and all of these things. Because we call all these things blessings. Okay? And we associate these things with our goodness and our hard work and all of these things. And we call these things, if we seek after and obtain these things, then we righteous, we good, and we successful. That's why I said this world is in opposition, because the lives we live, family, causes us to violate the laws of nature. Because to live successfully in this existence, family, is artificial. It's not real. It's empty at the end. See, one of the things he told us, he said, seek ye first the kingdom of Yah, and all these things will be added unto you. So in other words, the things that we need will be added to us as we seek the kingdom. Okay? But in our flesh, we seek these things because, as I said, the world teaches us if we don't have these things, then we're no good. We're useless. We're bums. We're derelicts. We all of these negative things because we don't have these things. So in other words, we the lowest of the lows. We're useless. So in other words, it teaches us to hate ourselves, because if we don't obtain the fig leaves that they tell us, then we're nothing. We don't even, they tell us we ain't children of the Most High. Because look at you. You ain't got nothing. You poor. What are you? But yet one of the things Yahushua said, he told his disciples, he said, take the gospel to the poor. Take the message to the poor. Because the poor have a heart. First of all, because they poor, they humble. Okay? Because they poor, they humble. Because they don't have nothing. He said he's near to those who have a broken heart and a contrite spirit. See, when you beat down and treading down and you ain't got nothing, your heart's broken. So with a broken heart, there's no pride. So the Most High can speak to those that's humble. This is why bad stuff happens to us. It's to break us. It's to remind us to the reality, family, that, hey, you know what I'm saying? We ain't all that. You know what I'm saying? It breaks us. It causes us to cry out to our Creator for help and understanding of what's going on, how we deal with this, what we supposed to get out of this, all this, because it's when in hard times, that's when we learn and we grow. But yet, when everything's smooth and flowing and stuff like that, we have a tendency to get lifted up in pride because we get comfortable. And so when we get comfortable and being made comfortable for any length of time, we get complacent. And so then all of this causes us to get lifted up in pride and think more of ourselves than we should. So then we eventually start walking in a place like the Most High don't exist because we good. So as I said, family, what I'm trying to say is all these fig leaves that we spend our lives seeking to cover up the reality of our nakedness and how much we need our Creator, and that apart from Him, we're nothing. And so the bottom line is, that's why He said, seek ye first His kingdom and His righteousness, and everything we need will be added unto us. It don't mean everything we want, because most of the stuff we want, family, is for our own pleasure. It's not for our necessity to live, but it's for our own pleasure. And so, what I'm saying is, one of the things I'm going to say this is that the Most High don't mind us enjoying things, family. Enjoying the things of creation first. Enjoying the fruits of our labor. He don't mind that. But the bottom line is we just go overboard and extreme with stuff in our flesh. Then it becomes in our flesh, it becomes all about pleasure. And that's where the problem comes in. You know what I'm saying? Because in our flesh, we slaves to our desires and our desires for pleasure. And that's where the problem is. And so the bottom line is we was created to bring pleasure to the Most High as we, what's the word I'm trying to say? Comply to his will under the spirit of his divine order that brings forth the oneness of creation, where the Father is glorified in that, as all of us are one in agreement with the perfect will of the Father, and that's to be ourselves in him, so that we can, according to the gifts and the talents and abilities that he's given us, to share those things with our fellow man, our fellow creatures, and Mother Earth, and who he brought us all forth from, such as the kingdom of the Most High Power. So we got to understand these things, family. We got to seek the Father's will for our lives. We got to seek after how he sees us so that we can know how to carry ourselves. Because as we seek his will for our lives, we get an understanding of ourselves. As we begin to see ourselves through his eyes, family. And as we understand these things, as the created beings we are, family, we become subject. We comply to what he shows us, family, in gladness, in all praise, honor, and glory, and thankfulness, family, because this is what we was created to do. And as we understand those things, family, we comply with the will of our Creator in gladness, in great joy, because we know we in service to him. And the beautiful thing about it is that all he ever wanted us to be is ourselves, family, but with the understanding of his mind. He didn't mean for us to imitate Yahusha. That's monkey see, monkey do. Because in our fallen nature, that's what we do. We imitate people we admire and that we lift up on a pedestal because we try to be like them instead of being ourselves. Because, as I said, this world teaches us to hate ourselves. So that's why we try to be like others that we esteem. And that's denying the Father's will for our lives. Because, as I said, all he ever wanted us to be is ourselves, family. But with the understanding of his mind so we could be ourselves. That we could love ourselves under the spirit of his divine love so that we can be in service to him, being a blessing to those around us, family. And as we all do that, we become a blessing to each other. In this world, this is a manifestation of the kingdom of the Most High when we all take our proper place and be the blessings he meant for us to be to the world around us. And as I said, that's to our fellow man, our fellow creatures, and Mother Earth, and who he brought us all forth from, such as the kingdom of heaven. So we got to ask the Father to help us to understand these fig leaves that's all around us, that's put before us in this world, and to be able to see them for what they are, and not to seek after these things. Because fig leaves will make us forget that we created beings that was created to serve the Most High Power. Because they hide and cover our nakedness. And once we feel our shame is hidden, then the spirit of pride steps up and we stick our chests out and we start living like it's all about us. That's why this thought just came to my mind. A tornado hit and tear up everybody's stuff and they lose everything. And they broken and I did this all my life and now it's gone and all that kind of stuff. Fig leaves. Because in reality, you may have lost all that stuff, but you're still living. You still got a chance to get things right with the Most High. or grow more in him or whatever. So like I said, all the things of this world, these are fig leaves, family. And the bottom line is, until we realize that through the eyes of the Spirit, because as I've said, family, there's coming a time, it's at the door. But those of us who truly love the Most High and seeking after to serve him and all these things, we're going to have to drop all these fig leaves that's been covering our nakedness and put ourselves at the mercy of our Creator and trust him to provide for us as he delivers us from this world. I'm telling you, in reality, money ain't got nothing to do with our deliverance that the Father's getting ready to do. Because as he delivers us through nature, as he delivers us, ain't no man gonna take glory in what the Father's gonna do. I can't say how he's gonna do it. I just know by the Spirit and the rationale and the logic of how nature works. And if the Father is nature, as he is nature, it makes sense to me that as we accept that and we become one with nature, then it makes sense that in his kingdom, as he's going to manifest his kingdom, it makes absolute sense that he would use nature to deliver us. Because in the end, his judgment, his wrath through nature is what's going to be used to destroy this world as we know it, to do away with Hasatan's dominion over this world. He's going to use nature. That's the elements. The elements is how he created all things. So the bottom line is, family, as I said, the Father is bringing forth the mysteries of the kingdom. And these are things that's been hidden in plain sight before us, but because we've been so caught up in the spirit of pride in this world, family, we have failed to see it. And the only way that we see things is according to what we understand as fallen man. So we think we got absolute control of the Father's creation and things are going to happen the way we want. Even people stupid enough to believe that the Most High going to allow them to actually escape the earth and go somewhere else so they don't get their judgment. Straight madness. So the bottom line is, family, I guess the main thing that, this topic about the fig leaves, us understanding what the fig leaves are. And fig leaves are anything that lift us up, that causes us to forget the reality that we was created to serve the Most High in spirit and truth. To think more of ourselves, that we think that this is about us. This is about us coming to this world and experiencing all the pleasure that we can in this world. To continue to be lifted up in pride and think it's all about us. And so the bottom line is, we about to lose the fig leaves. When it comes down to it, the Most High is going to deliver us from these fig leaves. He in the process, and he about to snatch them off. And those that are his are going to be brought even closer to him. Because we realize that our helplessness and all that as his children, as his creation, we can't do nothing but what he gives us the grace to do. So as we walk away from all the things of this world, as that time comes, it's only through the understanding of his spirit and the power of his spirit that we're going to be able to do so. So ain't nothing none of us could boast about or brag about. Because the bottom line is it's all in his hands and it's all him doing what he needs to do to bring forth his creation. Because as I said, this realm that we exist in, this is the realm of creation. This is the process of his permissive will, where the battle of good and evil is taken forth. We're experiencing it, and through the understanding of his spirit, we're learning from it, we're growing from it, and we're being conformed into the image of his Son, of his only begotten Son, who came to conquer death, to show us the heart of the Father, to show us the example on how we supposed to have dialogue with the Father. And then as he, after his resurrection, he prayed the Father to send the Ruach to us, to bring forth the divine spirit of his divine love in us, that we can have the same dialogue that he had. He was considered the firstborn of many brethren. So he opened the door for us to receive the same spirit that raised him from the dead and empowered him to walk in obedience throughout his life to his Father. And as we receive his spirit, we can walk in that same obedience, because now we understand we've been made one mind with our Heavenly Father. So we see things through his eyes. So now we have his understanding. So anything that's in opposition to his will, we can't take part of it. It's just simple as that, because it's not our nature anymore. So I think that's all I got to say on that, family. But remember, as a child of the Most High Power, we about to lose the fig leaves totally as we come to understand the Father's will. That this existence that we've been living in is artificial, it's not real, it's not his purpose, it's not his creation. It's simply the process he chose to prove the investment of his spirit in us, that he's chosen truly to be his children and inherit his kingdom. And so the time for the fig leaves is about done, the usefulness of them and everything. And so, as I said, the Father's getting ready to deliver us from this world through the power of nature, as he makes us one with nature. And through nature, he's going to bring an end to this world as we know it. So, with that said, I would say, I hope I said something to get you to consider. As I said, I'm not no teacher or none of that. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or believe. Just trying to put some things out there to provoke you to thought. Take these things to the Father yourself and seek and search him out for your life, his will for your life, so you can be who he desires you to be. So I pray that the Father continues to bless you and keep you and watch out over you as long as you continue to seek him out for yourself. So, with that said, until next time, I will say one love and salam.